Every week there's a minimum of 10 grand to be won on the AFTV PICK10. Now remember, you don't have to get them all right, you just have to get them most right. Click the link below and play.
Hi and welcome along to the Invincible podcast with my man Lee Judges, not in the building. I'm over here in Qatar. He's over there in the UK. It's a beautiful day here in Qatar. The sun is shining. It's a Friday over here. So on a Friday, you know, there's a big call to prayers. A lot of people go to the mosque. So you could hear like the sort of calls to prayers going off. That's finished now. And yeah, it's like the weekend has started over here. And yeah, it's beautiful. What's it like over there, Lee?
Oh, that's fantastic. I'm glad you're having a lovely time over there. It's nice and sunny because it's absolutely freezing over here. I think it's about 4 degrees at the moment. So the last couple of days,
4
it's got
degrees.
huh? Yeah, 4 degrees. So
4 degrees.
yeah, so make sure when you come back, you're not looking like that. I tell you, because you're gonna have in for a reality check when you boys come back. I tell you, like, you know. So the last couple of days, it's just turned cold, and of course it's now December, so it's all Christmassy now. So I don't know what it's like
Yeah,
over
do you
there.
know what? That's the one thing. I mean, like we were saying yesterday that we was like, oh, it's the 1st of December, and you know, it is not Christmassy at all over here. It just feels like you're in July. It's like summer, lovely breeze. Everybody's all walking around in shorts and stuff like that, and it just feels like the summer. It doesn't feel like December at all to me. But it's been absolutely brilliant. By the way, guys, don't forget AFTV PICK10. We're not actually going head to head this week because they're going to be doing it the predictions after the group stages, right? And it's the last group stage game is taking place on Friday, right? So they're going to be doing on PICK10 a big one on AFTV PICK10 this weekend, and you can win a share of up to £10,000, right? And that's great for Christmas. All you got to do is scan the QR code, click the link in the description as well, and play AFTV PICK10, and you could be a winner this weekend and win a share of 10 grand. So, Lee, don't worry, you don't have to suffer me beating you this week. You're going to be okay, you know what I mean?
I just like to say it's 3-0 this time around. You've had a right poor month. I know you've been out there sunning it up and not really been like into it, but I have, and it's 3-0 like that. So we've got nice Chinese when we come back. Nice Chinese.
I'll tell you what, it's been great out here. I mean, what I'm interested into. I'm going to tell you what I've found over here. But beforehand, I'd like to sort of find out what's it been like for you guys over in the UK, sort of looking and seeing the World Cup from afar.
Do you know what? As I said, we spoke about it before you went. I weren't really feeling the World Cup before it started, but since it started, it's been fantastic. It's been really, really enjoyable. You know, it's a feast of football that first 2 weeks, isn't it? When you've got games on all the time and they were coming thick and fast. But the games have been brilliant. The actual football and the excitement has been brilliant, Rob. You know, so I have to say, I've been doing the watch-alongs on DR Sport. I've thoroughly enjoyed them. They've been banter all the way. You know, you see other countries and they've all been a little bit nervous. I think, you know, England sailed through, didn't we? But it's been a really, really good fit, like really encouraging. So, some of the shocks, well, you know, going into this knockout stage now, you know, doing the PICK10s and all that, it ain't going to be easy because you just don't know who's going to win, you know. So, you know, Germany going out yesterday and Belgium as well.
Wow.
That was a big shock. And some of these so I say that the teams you don't expect to win, like Japan, have been Morocco. How good have they been? Like, you know, so
Yeah.
it's been really, really good. You know, so I think everybody's starting to get into it. The only downside from our point of view is, do you know, when you go to the World Cups, as if you go to a bar, you're always outside and you can see you know, have a few beers and all that. Everybody's sort of indoors and no one's got flags on their cars and things like that because they probably get blown off. Like, you know what I mean? Where in the summer they're all out and about. I haven't really seen that over here at the minute, like, you know. So I think that's the winter thing because it's more in the summer. But other than that, it's been a fantastic World Cup. Brilliant.
Yeah. I mean, over here it's been absolutely brilliantly. I mean, you know, obviously there was a lot said before the World Cup, and some of the things that was said needed to be said. I say that all the time, you know what I mean? The problems with the LGBTQ community, the migrant workers, those issues that were raised. But actually coming here, it's been an absolutely brilliant experience. The stadiums, every single one of them are like absolute top notch. I mean, they're incredible stadiums. And what I've also enjoyed about it, like you said, there's been great games. And I think a lot of the reasons why there's been so many even games is you've got fans that ordinarily wouldn't be able to go to games. So let's just say, for instance, Morocco, who've done so well in this tournament, right? Their fans wouldn't normally get a visa if the game has been played in, say the next World Cup in the States or places like that. They'd struggle to get a visa or whatever to get into the country. Here, they're able to come en masse. So there's loads of Moroccans here. There was like Saudi Arabia when they had their first shock against Argentina, when they pulled that off. I mean, there's so many of them here, right? And I think that's just given their players that extra 5-10%. Japan last night, I mean, they had so much support there, and their support was unbelievable. And again, it's not as far for them to come, so they can really get into it. So I think what I found with it being in one city, I went to the World Cup in Russia, and you'd play a game in one place, and then it'd be like a 5-hour flight to your next game, you know what I mean? Where over here, with all the games being in Doha, what happens is every single nation is here. So you're walking around and you walk down the road, there's a load of Argentinians, but they're mingling with loads of Brazilians who are mingling with loads of Saudi Arabians who are mingling with Moroccans and English and Welsh and German and French. It's been beautiful. It's been beautiful to see. And I actually, there's been almost like an attitude from coming from, the press and the media in the UK, almost like to separate ourselves before this tournament away from down areas like this. No, I think it's been perfect coming here because I've been able to speak to people from these countries and learn a lot more about their culture and learn a lot more about them as well. And it's been absolutely fantastic. And if you want to get people to start changing their attitudes to certain things, you've got to engage with people. And that's what everybody down here is doing. You're on the street and you're speaking to fans of all these different countries. And I've also got to say, the support for Arsenal down here in the Middle East is off the meter. I mean, I can't go anywhere without getting stopped and being asked for about 1 million pictures, right? A guy the other day from Saudi Arabia said to me, Arsenal's the biggest club. He said, Arsenal, Man United, 2 biggest clubs in Saudi Arabia. He goes, absolutely run that. He knew everything about Arsenal. He knew, honestly, we're not talking to people who don't know about the club. They know everything from top to bottom. The passionate support that Arsenal has over here in the Middle East is absolutely unreal. The Moroccans love Arsenal everywhere. And they're all asking me the question, Lee. Every time I buck into a fan, they're all saying, do you reckon that this is going to be it? Do you think this is the year that Arsenal are going to win the league? And they're all really, really, really excited about Arsenal this season. They really are.
Yeah, so, rightly so. Yeah,
it's been incredible, Lee. I mean, I've been down here and I've been like, I wish you'd have come because, it's been absolutely brilliant. Yeah, there's very few things I can say to fault it. Probably the only thing is that when you go to a stadium, you end up walking about a mile to get there, the way they push the parking out. But then even that, the parking's all free, No, it's been amazing. And I've just been really trying to embrace the culture down there. And then a lot of the other things that you heard said, like, or if you're a woman here, you're not going to be able to walk around. You're going to have to be covered up from head to toe. Absolutely false. Yeah. There's women here from all around the world, and they're just walking around as they normally walk around in their shorts and their tops, and no issues whatsoever. Honestly, like, even there's just been nothing. It's just been friendly vibes everywhere you go, and everybody wants to know. In my case, in particular, everybody wants to know about Arsenal. You know what I mean? So it's been absolutely amazing. And I was at that game last night, Lee, the Japan game. and it was great to see Japan go through. And of course, Tomiyasu,
Yeah.
he came on. He's been carrying a bit of an injury. He didn't play in the last game. I went to the last game as well that Japan played against Costa Rica, but he came on. He was solid last night because that last sort of 15, 20 minutes, Spain was really coming at them. But the fitness of the Japanese players was unreal. But Tomiyasu, if you think about it, our players, I was talking about this morning, a lot of our players now are progressing through to the next stage.
Yeah.
Tomiyasu's going through with Japan. Saka, Ramsdale. We know that Ben White's had to return back to the UK, unfortunately, but those two are going through with England. Matt Turner's going through with the USA. Granit Xhaka, we'll find out today. The two Brazilians of Martinelli and Jesus, they're going through with Brazil. Ghana playing today. Partey could be through. So, we were sort of saying, load of them will be back early. Just be able to hop over to Dubai. I don't think that's going to happen. They're all doing very well.
Yeah.
So how is it going to affect us? That's what I'm going to be interesting to find out.
That is the only downside about this World Cup, because there's part of you wants them to do well. Like the part of me today wants Ghana and Switzerland to lose, so that because they're the two main midfield players you want back home earlier. But the other part of them, you want to see them go through. Listen, De Bruyne has gone home early, which was unexpected. Like the Chelsea boys from Germany have gone home early. So there's swings and roundabouts of this. So I think at the end of it, I think it's good to say for our boys at this moment in time that they're going to go for it. Listen, I'm not so worried about the Brazilian boys at this moment in time because they don't look like they're going to be playing too much. Same with Saliba at France. Doesn't look like he's going to be playing too much.
He's progressing as well, though.
Yeah, they're progressing as well. So but the two that do worry me are I'm going to be really honest, are Granit Xhaka and Partey, because they're so integral to what we're going to, if we're going to achieve anything, and they're guaranteed starters where they're not going to be rested. And unfortunately for them two, they've got to play every single game, every minute, because that's the way that their teams are playing. So both could go out today. Now, if they do, I'm not going to be too disappointed, if I'll be honest, but obviously I'll be cheering them on. And it is a funny thing because I don't know how you feel about it. I would have been really annoyed if Saka weren't playing in that game, on the last game. But I sort of had the consolation, he's not going to get injured on the bench. Do you know? So that's the mentality of it at the moment. So part of me still got my Arsenal hat on while we're watching these games. And, because I think what it's like, we're in December now, of course, and it's now, just over 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and we're back playing again. And, looking forward to it. And they're really progressing really, really well. The mad thing about yesterday's game, I don't know if you knew this when you was watching that Japan game, but at one stage of that game, Spain and Germany were going out. It was incredible.
Yeah, no, we knew.
Yeah, it was incredible.
There was a guy sat behind us, right? There was a guy sat behind us, and he was sort of like, he was watching the other game on his phone. That's the other thing about here, right? You go into a ground and you get perfect internet. Unlike, over in the UK where, your phone just basically, you may as well throw it away once you get into a ground.
Yeah, it's true.
So he was keeping us up to date, and they was also showing the different permutations on the screen as well, which I thought was great. So you knew at every stage.
Right.
Like it would go up on the screen and show that Germany were were actually in second place. Then when Japan scored, it was up on the screen. They dropped to third. At one stage, Costa Rica and Japan were going through, and I'll tell you, that was going to be brilliant.
It was incredible. I actually didn't know what game to watch because I kept flicking. It was so, and what was so annoying, I flicked over to the Spain game. I thought, I'll watch this one because this one mattered. There's been a goal. No, so I quickly switched back over and switched back over. It was mad, and that's what's, the worrying thing for me is like in the next World Cup they're talking about, is it 16 groups of 3? If they do that, that will ruin it, Robbie. 2 going through. Keep it as it is with the 4 teams.
Keep it as it is. Keep it as it is, man. I think they've had Yeah, I think there's more teams this time, isn't it? But keep it as it is. And I'd say one thing for definite, right? That, it's the World Cup. It's got to go around the world, right? And as I've said, I have seen and I have felt, and it's not just me saying this, speak to anybody who's come down there, right? And they're saying the same thing, that, you know what? It's good that it's come to this part of the world. The Middle East have got the World Cup. They're so happy. They're so proud. You know what I mean? Every game's been packed, Lee.
Yeah,
Every game. You might see a few empty seats at the start of the game. That's only because, as I said, the one issue, the little parking issues, where sometimes, it's a bit far away from the ground. So a lot of people end up sometimes being a bit late. But you watch every single game. By about 10, 15 minutes into the game, the stadium's packed. And these are some big old stadiums here, you know what I mean?
yeah.
So it's been so well received down there. And I have to say, the locals were very glad that Germany went out. I think Germany have been sort of doing a lot of protests and stuff like that. And the locals were like, yeah, you know what? Goodbye, Germany. Good riddance, kind of thing. You know what I mean? They weren't really, you know. But having said that, you go to some England games, right? Despite the amount of hassle, the amount of stick, should I say, that the press in the UK have given to Qatar and given to, people down here, they look on it like it's an attack, not just on Qatar, that it's an attack on the Middle East.
Yeah.
That's how they look on it, right? But you go to an England game, you see how many fans that are local, obviously local people and Middle Eastern people that have got their England shirts on, are supporting England. It's absolutely incredible. So it's been great that the World Cup is down there. I am a bit worried about how players are going to return, Lee. And I'm not even, it doesn't even matter if they're not injured, right? This is going to take a lot out of players, right? And I'm not on about, the temperatures here have been good, so it's not been even a heat problem or anything like that. But you see in games, you've got to give so much. I mean, those Japanese players yesterday, they run their socks off.
Yeah.
Some of these players, when they get back, they can't go straight back into the Premier League. You can't, unless you go out early. There is no way. You're going to need at least a week, 2 weeks holiday after this.
That's the worry.
They've been in a camp. Yeah, they've been in a camp, Lee. They've been training every day. They've been, playing these intense games. They're all fans' passion. Their country is depending on them. And then what? A week later, you're going to go and play in the Premier League. It's not going to happen. There's going to be players that, just mentally and physically, they're going to have a bit of a burnout. They're going to need at least a week's holiday, 2 weeks holiday before they can get back in it. I am a bit worried about that. And that's the one worry. In a way, like you said, it's good that a lot of these Arsenal players that are here are not really playing every single game.
Yeah.
Because, I think if you are a main guy like a Xhaka or a Partey and you get far down into the tournament, you get to, say, for instance, the semi-finals, I don't think you can come straight back.
No, I agree.
I just don't think you're going to be able to do it. And it is a bit of a worry. And also the transfer business we do in January, we're going to need to do it early in January. We can't be waiting till the end of the window. We need to bring in someone that's going to be ready to go straight away. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. And a couple of scenarios that we've been thinking about while you've been on. It's like, say if Brazil win it, yeah? Say if Brazil win the World Cup, they're not going to turn around and go, right, you go straight to Dubai or whatever. They're going to have to go back all the way to Brazil to celebrate it. Do the ceremonies and all things like that. So not only are they going to be physically tired all through that travelling and things like that. Now, also, which is a great thing, is my Spurs mates are getting the hump. You know what I mean? Like, because, Harry Kane is being played through injury and everything like that. And now, for the first time in my life, Robbie, when he got took off the other day, I'm saying, keep him on. What's the matter with you? Keep him playing. I want him, and they're worried that he's going to be running to the ground with an injury, come back and turn around and go, well, I need my ankle rested and or my foot rested.
Yeah.
So they're not happy with him being played all the time. So and I think
I was at the game yesterday, the Croatia game, and you could see Perisic, for
Yeah,
instance, their player, he looked absolutely shattered
yeah,
at
and
the end of that game. You know what I mean? You know,
so
and they've progressed. You
yeah,
know, and you just cannot. I mean, there is no way I feel that you're just going to be able to. If you've been playing, you go far down into the tournament, and I think like even quarterfinals. You get to the quarterfinals,
yeah.
you're going to need a little rest after that. And I'm looking at it and I'm saying, right now, England, I think, will get to the quarterfinals. You know, France will get to the quarterfinals. You know what? Even Ghana and Switzerland, if they make it through
Yeah,
their
one of
group,
them
they
could
got a
do it. Yeah,
chance. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's going to take its toll. I'm really a little bit worried about that. You know what I mean? How that is going to affect Arsenal, you know, when the World Cup is finished, because you know the main players are all figuring it. They're all
uh,
figuring it, all featuring this. You know what I mean? So
and for
that's
the
my only worry from a selfish point of view.
selfish is yeah, I'm with you on this because for the first time in a very long while, we've got our act together in the league and we're playing really well. And you know this could come back and be the thing that messes
Yeah,
us up a little bit. Like listen, I don't know what it's going to be like for players like I actually didn't realise this, Robbie, that De Bruyne is 31. I never knew that. I thought he was a
yeah.
little bit younger than that.
The
So
way he played yesterday, he looked
yeah,
like he's about 51. I'll
yeah,
tell you that.
you know, so how's that going to affect him mentally going into the season now because
Yeah,
he knows it ain't going to have a World Cup? So coming out early doesn't necessarily mean a great thing because it could be, you
no,
know,
yeah,
um,
because yeah, you're right, Lee, because mentally,
yeah,
like, so De Bruyne has come into the tournament, right? And a lot of people have been talking him up as, like, you know, the best midfielder in the world and stuff like that. Honestly, I watched him play in a couple of games. He looked very ordinary.
yeah,
You know what I mean? And you know, he didn't look himself. He didn't look himself. So how's that going to affect him? You know, there again, you could come into the tournament and have a great tournament, and that can have a sort of positive outlook for you. You know, you could all of a sudden that could lift you another 10% in your own belief. You know, so it's gonna be. Listen, it's unprecedented territory. A tournament being played at this time of year, and I just think it's going to be interesting to see. But I don't know. I just being at games and seeing the intensity of the players on the pitch, seeing the intensity of the fans and what they demand of their teams. I mean, I was at the Argentina game the other night, right? Those players could not afford to lose.
no,
Those
no,
fans
that's it.
demand, and Brazil as well. Those fans, right? When you talk to them, right, they're like, "Hey, we're winning the World Cup and nothing less." They don't want to hear nothing about semi-finals, quarterfinal. Sometimes you're speaking to some English fans who are like, you know what, if we get to the quarters, right, or maybe we could nick it in the semis. When you speak to the Brazilians and Argentinian fans, they're like, no, we're winning this.
Yeah,
And we're interested in those semis, and all we're focused on is the final. Right. So yeah,
that's the
mentally it's
good
gonna
thing
take a
about
lot
it,
out of
Rob.
you.
The World Cup. There's only been 3 teams going into that last games that were, I think, guaranteed of being in. I think Portugal might have been another one, so 4. So that was like Brazil, Portugal, France, and England were virtually through that could perhaps rest a few players. All the other teams have had to, even Spain yesterday,
Yeah,
like, after what they'd done, couldn't take that lightly, they they were lucky in the end, could have gone against them. So
yeah,
every game, Argentina have had to play like, their ideal would have looked at it and said, I'll win the first 2 games and then like we can rest Messi for one and then go again. A lot of these teams haven't been able to do that. So, haven't been able to rest their star players. So
yeah,
even England to a certain degree could have rested Kane, couldn't they? But they didn't, So
yeah,
it is like, somebody said to me the other day, it's like Gareth Southgate's borrowed Conte's Ferrari, isn't he? He's driving it round the old. He's giving it a good old welly around the motorway, the old M25 at the moment, like, you know. And that's how
and
it
then there's also
seems. So
Yeah, and also it's got to be a worry on Ben White because him
yeah,
going home, obviously
no
personal
one knows,
reasons.
Robbie.
We don't.
What's that's about? No one knows.
Yeah, we don't know exactly what it's about, but I saw the tweet that Arsenal said where they said we're with you. So it's obviously something very serious.
Yeah,
How's
so
that going to affect him? I mean, so all of a sudden now we're moving into some different scenarios, and we may require some other players to sort of step up.
exactly
It's
that.
going to be interesting. Certainly, it's going to need a lot of mental toughness, and it's going to need a lot of very good management from Mikel Arteta to get everybody back on page after this World Cup.
Yeah, I like with Mikel. I've gone through some. This is his first big job. We was talking about this yesterday. He's gone through the pandemic. He's then gone through a season without fans. Now he's got another scenario which has not happened for any other coach. Going through a World Cup mid-season, so it's a very, very difficult. I don't know, it's all sort of a suck it and see sort of thing, isn't it? You don't really know what's for best,
Yeah.
what's not. I think they had a couple of weeks off. They had, didn't they? And now they've come back training. How do you deal with that? They're going to play a few friendlies, which I'll be honest, I'm going to look forward to them. And now they've got the situation with Ben White, so we don't, as I say, don't know what's happened. But look, listen, if the World Cup weren't on, we'd be going through this with Ben White now with Arsenal games. So
Yeah,
so I'd imagine without being, it's like we're probably looking at a death in a very close family relative or something like that for him to come up, and then to actually say he's not going to come back. So that's a massive thing. So like faults with him, and he's such a key player for us as well. So
key. Yeah, absolute key player, and we wish him all the best.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting to see. And of course, you talked about those friendlies. There's a lot of people over here getting excited about those as well. Going to be taking place in Dubai. I'm trying to see if I can. Obviously, Dubai from Qatar is like a very, very about a 1 hour flight or something. But I went to look at some of those flights the other day, and oh my god, it'd be cheaper to come back to England. You know what I mean? They bumped them right up, man. Oh my god, I'll tell you that.
Can't you get your mate on the yacht to charter you over there, giving it large?
I actually did ask him about that because he did took the yacht from Dubai to come here, but it's about a 16-hour crossing apparently, and also he's going tomorrow, and that game's not until next week, and I've got some more games to do in the World Cup. So I'm hoping to get over to Dubai for that. I really want to catch the game next week. I'm hoping to get over to Dubai for that. It'd be quite a weakened team because there's so many players that are still still here in the World Cup. And even if they were to get knocked out, as I said, they're going to need a rest. They can't go straight back into. I think we all need to accept that a lot of these players are not going to be able to just go straight back into playing football. They're going to need.
No, do you know
going to
what,
need a little time out.
I'm going to say this though, Rob. And I see what you're saying that, but when it's the African nations, we expected it, didn't we? Partey, as soon as he was out, you're straight back over here. Then he gets injured.
And remember what happened? Remember what happened with that?
Yeah, he gets injured, and then because you're not really, I'll be honest, not really focused in on that. But now you're seeing it in the World Cup, you realise that it's very intense. So that you can't be looking to do that. So, but we expect of the. I remember, go on around, let's get him back home. He'll be playing next Saturday and all that. So
remember he literally came home. Remember, he
come in the
played
morning
the same day.
Yeah,
and remember how that turned out, and that just goes to show you, right? Because that number one showed you the total disrespect for the African Cup of Nations, right? The fact that we thought he could play straight after that, but it also shows you that you're not going to be able to come straight back.
No,
you know what I mean? And Ghana got knocked out early in the African Cup of Nations.
Yeah.
They didn't do very well in that. They got knocked out. They didn't even get beyond the group stage, right? So, and he came straight back and got injured straight away, and then we lost him for ages, right?
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. Anybody who's coming back after the World Cup's going to need a little rest.
Yeah.
So I think, some of the other players there, your Eddie Nketiahs and I don't even know in midfield, but they're going to have to play a key role, because it may be that these guys need a little rest.
I'm hoping that Smith Rowe will be back, hopefully playing in these games, because
Yeah,
that'd be a big boost for us.
he was
Because,
over here apparently.
oh, was he?
Yeah, somebody said he was over here for one of the games or something, and I mean I haven't seen him, but that's what I heard. But
Oh, right,
yeah,
right.
Smith Rowe, these guys, El Neni, all these guys that are not in the World Cup, it's going to be very, very important that they
Uh,
play a role. But
They may have to come in
yeah,
those
going to be
first couple
interesting,
of
Lee.
games.
Going to be interesting, but
They may have to come in those
yeah, but
first
we're going to have
couple
to
of
get
games
over it,
against
Lee,
West
man.
Ham. So
Yeah. West Ham straight back.
yeah, they might have to.
Newcastle, tough games, man.
Tough games. 2 tough games. I think, on paper you'd expect, like if the season ain't finished, you'd expected us to go and win those games, But now with
Yeah.
with those, probably somewhere along the line, you're not going to have either Saka playing, you're not going to have either Jesus or Martinelli. So if that's the case, say if it is Brazil that go and win it, and we haven't got them two guys, you're asking Martinelli and probably Smith Rowe or someone's got to step up and do the business, Rob, in those couple of games, because they are key players for us this season. So, yeah, now you're saying it, I don't know if I want Brazil to go through now, you know what I mean? So, it is a bit of a worry, I have to say. It is a bit of a worry. But I'm with you, you know what I mean? Like, a couple of these guys now that are there are going to have to step up to the plate, because don't forget, those first 2 games, West Ham and Brighton, there's no transfer window then. It comes after that. So it's so important that, if we were to lose those 2 games, all the good work we've done and all that would be done in one swoop. So
Yeah.
that West Ham game, I'm going to go into that game. I don't know how you feel. Like, you're going to be a lot colder than me coming there. That's the first thing. But secondly, I am going to be nervous for that game. Very, very nervous, because you just don't know what's going to happen. Like, it's the unknown, isn't it? Like, so might gauge something from these friendlies. I don't know, but they are friendlies. But yeah, it is going to be interesting to see what happens. And yeah, hopefully Smith Rowe will get him. If Smith Rowe's over there, then that must be looking encouraging, surely.
Yeah, because maybe that's sure he's going to be with the guys in Dubai and stuff like that. So that is looking encouraging. But let's see how that works out. Lee, we're coming towards the end of the show today.
Yep.
What you got planned for the rest of the day then?
I'm just going to go down the gym today, and then I'm out tonight. And then obviously, like, the watch-alongs for me on over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. So it's a busy weekend for me, like, So I won't be.
Me and the guys
sunbathing, put it that way.
Well, we're not sunbathing today, but me and the guys have got a driver coming to pick us up in about an hour or so's time. He's going to be taking us out to some of the cultural sites of old Qatar, right, for us to see. Then he's going to be taking us out for a meal, and then we'll be off later on to watch Brazil versus Cameroon. So a very nice night. And then tomorrow, I think I've been told we're going to be going to watch a spot of camel racing, which I've never seen before. So I'm looking forward to that. Some camel racing and that. And might have to on Sunday check to see if my mate with the yacht is still around. You know what I mean? If not, we'll figure something out.
I'm pleased for you guys out there, like, you know what I mean? I might
lovely,
go
man.
London
It's great
and see the Christmas lights. There you go. I might do that Saturday night.
I mean, honestly, that is the one thing I am missing.
Yeah.
Obviously, we don't really have the Christmas vibes of it, but I can do without that for now. We'll be back in time for
I've got my Christmas jumper on. Look, we're getting festive over here, like,
I love that. That looks so nice.
Yeah, it's all right. It's a lovely colour as well, like, you know what I mean? So
yeah, I love that. I love that. That's in the AFTV shop, right?
That's it. Yeah. It's
yeah.
James said to me, I've got to wear this now. I've got to wear this today, and on the watch-alongs for the friendly games in Dubai. So, yeah,
brilliant.
I might need 2. I might need another one because it's that cold at the moment. Like,
well, Lee, listen, thanks very much, man. Great to see you.
Lovely to see you. Lovely to see you guys as well. Like, happy birthday to Flex.
Glad that you're well.
So.
Yeah, happy birthday to Flex. It's his birthday today. And don't forget, everybody, if you want to get a lot of that World Cup content, go over onto DR Sports and subscribe. That's where we're doing a lot of it. I also do a daily show from over here in Qatar, keeping you up to date with what's going on in the World Cup, and also with all of our Arsenal players. And also, don't forget AFTV PICK10. Click the link in the description. A share of £10,000 this weekend as we get into the group stage, come out of the group stages, and it starts to get seriously after today.
Now.
It's when you lose, you're on your way home, mate. So it's serious.
Yeah.
Penalty shootouts and all that sort of stuff. All that's coming. The drama continues over here in Qatar. But Lee, thanks very much.
No worries.
Thanks,
Enjoy
everybody.
the rest of the time.
Yeah. And we'll be back next week.
Oh yeah, see you next week. Like, hopefully you're still. If England go out, are you coming home or are you staying there? Like,
No, I'm staying till the end, mate.
Oh,
I'm here till the end.
So you're not coming
See
home,
you
like,
later.
you don't be coming home on the plane with England, like, no.
He's coming home. He's coming. Robbie's coming home. I'll see you later.
Take care.
The Invincible podcast. Myself, Robbie, and Lee Judges come together once a week to discuss all things Arsenal. Straight talking, considered discussion, brought to you by the fans of the only club in Football League history to go invincible.